Hi guys, today's video is going to be about the future of AFK Journey, not just in terms of what they've announced, but things that I hope that they add sometime in the future to kind of continue the role or continue the excitement for the game, which I know a couple people are maybe a little bit dying down on the hype of this game, or they are kind of now entering the phase where the game is now their side game, which is totally fair and totally fine because that's kind of the kind of game that it's been advertised as, or they're trying to sell themselves as. But let's get into the patch and what they've already announced or kind of teased when it comes to AFK Journey's future. The first thing that we have is the new desert region, which is really cool. It has the Ashen Waste, and although personally I feel like the colors are a bit more monotone in certain scenarios, they did a pretty good job explaining not only the environment and doing quite the write-up, honestly, just about what the region has to offer. Again, it feels a little bit interesting. I don't know if they're trying to build some lore based onto this, but it's the next region that we're going to have access to. There are, of course, the oases, whatever you want to call it, the tumbleweeds, the bushes, and of course, the monsters that we're going to be previewing or fighting in the future. But in terms of actual, I guess, content that's being displayed, they haven't really shown anything outside of basically what's been teased already. They announced that there's going to be new content for you guys to clear, rewards associated as well. And of course, while some of these monsters are interesting to hear about, none of these really tell you what the monsters are going to do necessarily. But it is cool that, again, we have new areas to kind of hang out in, I guess, AFK if you are, I don't know, a social kind of person, who knows. But in any case, it's just a bit of a brief kind of fast preview. I'll include everything or the links to these pages if you want to see like the screenshots and stuff in the description of this video. However, while this is a little bit, I guess, like a little bit of a taste for what's to come in, I believe it's called the Song of Strife, correct? I think it's, yes, the Song of Strife. It's like the new season system. They did also announce that there are new heroes that are going to be joining us, I guess. And we have no idea what they're going to be, but judging by the fact that they are on the beastier looking side, it looks like they got like cat ears or horns on, ponytails, and kind of fur-ish looking gear and armor. It's probably safe to assume that these are going to be two maulers. We don't know exactly who they are, of course. And as you can see by this message over here, someone is really eager for it to be a bunny character, but unfortunately that's not likely who it's going to be. I would have to imagine if it is. Crazy. But anyways, that's really cool, and the idea of having a continuous stream of new characters come out alongside this new season system is really nice because it does generate a bit of hype again into players that have already kind of made it all the way to the end game, and they kind of need some new life into the game. A lot of people I know right now are kind of just either waiting to gain access to the Abyss, the new Abyss Tower, or they are already progressing through it. And that's where the next thing I want to talk about today is going to be, or that's going to be the next thing I'm going to be talking about. That is, of course, the hotfix announcement that we've been announced or given when it comes to the new, I guess just with the new patch. We got a new hotfix, and they are going to be opening up new trial of Abyss floors, specifically on days 25, 32, and 39. Personally, I'm not familiar enough with this exactly because I'm almost at 210, 201. I'm almost at 201. I'm kind of close. However, on my free-to-play account, this has no relevance to me. And I'm sure for some of you guys, especially if you're in the free-to-play kind of range, this also means nothing to you. But if you are someone that is at the point where you can start looking at new content or, you know, progressing to the super end game, this is really exciting news. And then, of course, there is an announcement that after you complete like a certain store or a certain floor, after a certain person has reached or cleared a certain floor for the first time, everyone on the server receives compensation. There you go. I can speak. Additionally, they also increase the duration for certain items. These are basically just, I guess, mildly nicer quality of life changes. As far as I can tell, this doesn't really change anything. It should be the duration that you can claim. If it is actually rather than a duration change in actual increase in what you're being given, then I must be misreading it. But as far as I can tell, it just means that you can claim it or you have more time to claim it, I'm assuming. That's how I'm assessing it. If it's the other, that's also fine. Both are great because one is either a quality of life and the other is a direct buff to the rewards. And then also they optimize the animations when obtaining Flora Bell, the Blooming Maiden, who's the new character. And I just want to give a mild, a mild side note about Flora Bell, since she's already being noticed or described in Hotfix note. I do think that Flora Bell, and I apologize for those of you that saw my initial reaction to Flora Bell, she definitely was a lot more interesting than I gave her credit for. And although I definitely was kind of excited just to be pulling for the new character, because that's technically the first character that we've had that's been new that we didn't expect or anything like that, I was very excited to pull for her. And although she definitely felt like a bit of a wild card, no pun intended, for my teams, and it didn't feel as though I had quite as good a team to pair him or pair her with, rather. I did find that later on, if you do end up replacing Arden in the meta wilder team compositions with the Flora Bell, it feels like she's just an insane DPS. A lot of people and a lot of reports that I've seen mark her as the best wilder DPS just because of how much damage she puts out and how much utility she gets, or I guess how many minions she has to not only give utility but also deal insane DPS. Now again, what level you have and whether or not you're going to replace a character like Cecile with Flora Bell, well, that's up for debate. However, I have definitely seen a lot of people that are using Flora Bell now or pulling for Flora Bell and then using her either in certain PvP compositions, climbing up the AFK, the AFK stage ladder, or they are just, of course, using her where she's likely going to shine the best, which is fighting in the wilder legend trials. Formerly, there were people that would use characters like Arden, and the kind of unfortunate truth about a character like Arden is that his damage doesn't really peak, or his utility or his maximum usefulness kind of doesn't peak until you hit the Mythic Plus. That being said, I do also want to bring the topic back towards the future of AFK Journey, because although I definitely have been having a lot of fun, I am definitely at the point right now where I'm kind of just waiting for, I guess, like powder every day. Now that the AFK stage climb for me has ended, and I'm kind of waiting for the Abyss floors, there's been like this week lull, or like a period of like a week lull where I'm not really unlocking anything new. I'm essentially just waiting for new content to arrive to me, or I'm waiting for more powder. And although I do understand that sometimes they are trying to incentivize you to spend, I think that having an extended period where all you can basically do is log on, optimize your Dream Realm or your Dream Realm run, and then do a little bit of arena, and then just log off, I find that to be a little bit troubling, especially because there is an endless grind, like literally waiting for me, and it's not like we're waiting for it in a new patch. Like, there are people that are doing the Abyss Tower right now, I'm just not at that. And for that case, I think it's a little bit weird for them to include such a, I guess like a restricting time gate. Maybe I'm just at the point where I should have been spending more, and maybe they'll address this in the future in the patch, or in a patch where they unlock or they give access to the Abyss a little bit earlier. But me personally, I felt that, their choice to specifically lock out content by just having you wait and wait and wait, and all you have access to for like a period of a week is just logging on to do a little bit of story or maybe a town quest or a dream realm, and you get off, kind of defeats, I guess, like or it kind of beats some of the life or the spirit out of the game, specifically for me. And on that note, in terms of how to bring back life and, I guess, enjoyment back to the game, I do think that there are a lot of events that are coming, and I do think that for the health of the game, it is nice, of course, that they're adding updates to the game. And it's not to say that this is bad. However, I do kind of want to caution AFK Journey when it comes to making content that is specifically gated behind either levels, or you have to have cleared a certain stage in the game to gain access to. Even for the first time when I had seen that you had to get to stage like 1125, or even for the first time like when I had seen that you had to hit a certain stage level to access a new area, it felt a little bit bad. And although I was inevitably able to clear the stage or clear up to that AFK stage and then gain access to a new area, it does feel a little bit bad when you run out of things to clear. And if they end up adding things like this in the future Abyss or in future content in general, I would kind of caution Lilith, just because it feels like it would be a little bit too off-puttish a lot of players like the progression of logging on, feeling somewhat of an achievement for having logged on to the day, either upgrading their gear or getting a new record, anything like that. And although there are a lot of ways to do that, because pretty much everything in the game has a competitive ladder, the second that you start adding artificial blockers just because, and it doesn't even really make sense, because it's not as though you're blocking out content so that you have time to add new content in the future. It's just blocked, and you're just sitting there and you're just waiting to either whale or naturally gain the resources to upgrade. It just feels a little bit punishing for no reason. That being said, of course, I am really happy with all the progress that they've made and all the things that they've been announcing. Flora Bell was pretty cool. I think the idea or the design of her kit is really cool. I would argue that maybe she does feel a little bit too similar to Cannaaaa, because it's, well, I use Cannaaaa every day, and then I see Flora Bell, and it's like, well, do I want a wilder composition or do I want Cannaaaa today? And it's basically the same thing for me. That being said, I like the design of the characters. Hopefully the new characters that they announce also look really cool, and I hope that maybe they add a new future way for us to gain more A-level characters easier. If that ends up being a reward from the seasons, that would be really cool. And just in general, although they are definitely generous with rewards, I think that adding more and more ways, especially even if it's just like once a day, you have the ability to gain one more copy of an A level, or maybe even 2 more copies. I think that would definitely kind of pick things up, or kind of regenerate or feel a little bit better when it comes to just playing the game daily. Because otherwise, if you are below Mythic Plus on a lot of characters, especially the A level characters, it just feels like you're not even playing the game. It just feels like you're logging on, you wait for the powder, and until you essentially over level the content, you can't clear the content at all. And it doesn't matter if you're trying to be creative. It doesn't matter, well, technically it does. Well, it doesn't matter if someone else uses your account to try and fix the fight for you. In some cases, all you have to do, or all you are able to do, is just wait and pray for either an imprint, or, you know, have someone give you their synergy request. It feels a little bit weird, so I hope that in the future they decide to change things like this, and I guess just continue to be awesome and add more content that they are already doing. In all honesty, normally when I talk about the future of games, I can usually pinpoint like a clear weakness, but as far as I can tell right now, outside of the artificial gating of certain content, Lilith is doing pretty well. Powder is, of course, still the biggest issue in my opinion when it comes to the game, but I do understand that at the same time, they're trying to, I guess, reward certain players for spending money, and for certain players like being creative and getting through certain puzzles and fights while being underleveled and rewarding them with powder. I don't know. In any case, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Long story short, we've got a couple things coming, and they all look really exciting. The whole system itself, I think, is a lot different than just being given access to Flora Bell, which is really cool. And yeah, they're treading, in my opinion, on the right direction, but they will have to kind of pace themselves to make sure that we aren't just getting bored and we're getting gated artificially. Hopefully there's new puzzles, hopefully there's new fights, maybe some more co-op things, world bosses, etc. I think we are getting a 3rd new world boss or something as well after the next one that's coming up, which is going to be really exciting. But yeah, I like the competition, I like the exclusiveness of the rewards, and even though right now AFK Journey is definitely kind of just like a side game for me while I'm waiting for the real content to come out, I've been enjoying it, and I hope you guys have as well. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you again for watching. If you have any thoughts or comments, or if you agree or disagree, feel free to leave it in the comment section, but please don't shoot the messenger. These are just my thoughts. I'm not the developer or something of Lilith Games, but thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, comment, like I mentioned before, turn on the notification bell, and subscribe. Thanks again for watching, everyone. I'll see you on the next one. Good night.